So now I'm going to take a deeper dive into the forecast for our friends in Western Washington so you know what to expect, because rain has let up a little bit as all that rain moves into Oregon, but we're not in the clear by any means just yet. So let's dive right into it. I wanted to show you some cameras around Washington. We've had some clearing, but mostly we're on the drier side, but still very cloudy. You could see atop Mount Rainier at Paradise right now, seeing some fresh snow. Even at Stevens Pass, we had some falling snow this morning, but all of that moisture is slowly peeling away from north to south. We have this low that's moving to our north, and that's essentially pushing this atmospheric river and the bulk of the moisture to our south. So here's a look at our Western Washington headlines. So most of that rain moving south this morning, but we have more heavy rain moving in later and tonight. So river flooding, gusty winds are likely. Into Wednesday, that heavy rain is going to continue, and it's going to take a little bit of time for the rain to taper off. So we're expecting more river flooding. Into Thursday, it's not going to be as rainy, but we're still going to have that river flooding likely continuing. And it's all thanks to this atmospheric river. I'm sure you've heard all about it. This one is on the strong side. It stretches from the Pacific Northwest all the way to about northwest of Hawaii, stretching about 3,000 miles over the Pacific. So just all of that moisture is being pumped into the Pacific Northwest, and it's falling fast. So what is an atmospheric river? This is not a new term by any means. An atmospheric river the term was coined back a couple of decades ago. You might know it as a pineapple express, essentially, but this is the actual scientific term. So it is actually similar to a river, but up in the sky. And so it's a large, narrow band of moisture just being pumped in from the Pacific, and it's ushering in very warm, moist air. And this is to put it into perspective. So it's a giant band of water vapor, and it moves a lot of times well inland. And as it moves over the mountains, it forces all of that moisture upward, and then we get that really, really heavy rain. And this will produce some heavy snow up in the higher elevations, but in the lower elevations, flooding and mudslides. This is something new as of a couple of years ago. You may know when it comes to tornadoes and hurricanes and then severe weather risk, we tend to have a numerical scale when we are ranking these things. And so as of recently, we now have the impact scale for an atmospheric river, and we depend on these atmospheric rivers for much of the year to bring us that rain that we need along the West Coast. And we tend to get the beneficial, weaker atmospheric rivers. But in this case, it's an AR4, so it's mostly hazardous because we don't need all of this rain all at once. And you can see all of that white indicating all of the clouds in place, that water vapor, it's moving inland. But as I mentioned, a lot of it is starting to move a little more to the south into Oregon. But watch what happens as we head into Wednesday. It moves right back up into Western Washington, and it really just does not let up until about Thursday. And so once that moisture source is cut off a little bit, then the rain will begin to subside. This is what we're expecting Tuesday and Wednesday in terms of our greatest impacts. The heavy rain, that's going to be our major concern, leading to more flooding and landslides. We have extremely saturated soils from our first round of rain, and so it's not going to take much to see some additional issues. Wind also going to be another concern, likely not as strong as before, but we're still going to have some wind moving in. I'll show you in just a minute, but this is a product that shows us where the heaviest rain will occur for today. The yellow, that is where we have the greatest chance for the heavy rain, maybe some flooding for today. The green is lower, showing that there is the chance, but most of it, the strongest rain, the heaviest rain should be to the west and to the south of Seattle. But you see into Wednesday, that yellow, that extends all the way to the north, covering much of Western Washington. So we all have the chance for some heavy rain tomorrow as well. Wind advisory kicks in this evening, 8 p.m. through 8 p.m. Wednesday. We could have 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, sustained with gusts up to 40 miles per hour. This includes portions of the North Sound all the way down to the Chehalis River Valley, and then including the coast. So much of the greater Seattle area is included in this. We have that flood watch in place. That's the darker green. That's through Friday. And all of the lighter green you see, those are all of the flood warnings we have in place off of much of our rivers flowing off of the Cascades. And so here are some of the rivers that are currently forecast to reach major flood stage. Again, the Skagit, Snohomish, Skykomish, Tolt, White, Puyallup, Carbon, Grays, Cowlitz, Nisqually, and Nacelle. And this river forecast updates frequently, obviously, because it shows the gauges or the river gauges as of 10 o'clock this morning. And so some of the ones that already hit major flood stage are starting to recede now that we have this break, but they're forecast to crest once again, if not tomorrow, possibly some cresting again as we head into Thursday. And you see the red color, that is moderate flood stage. The fuchsia color, that's a major flood stage. So the Snoqualmie near Snoqualmie Falls, Puyallup near Ording, and then white near R Street in Auburn, Carbon near Fairfax. So this is why, because again, we're going to have more heavy rain through Thursday. On average, Puget Sound could pick up about 2 to 4 plus, up in the mountains 6 to 8 plus, because our snow levels are going to be so high. Now, rain totals will be significantly lower for where the rain shadow sets up. So timing, let's talk about that. Through this afternoon, we'll have showers starting to approach our South Sound, the South Cascades, but then it becomes widespread into this evening, overnight, and it just does not let up until late Wednesday. Some of the heavy rain will let up, you see, from about Olympia all the way down to the state line to Oregon by mid to late morning tomorrow, and then it's pretty persistent from about Seattle northward. Then it gets that push to the south once again, and eventually tapering off into our Thursday. I mentioned winds are going to pick up. This is overnight and into Wednesday from about Everett southward. They could gust 30 to 40 miles per hour, potentially peaking tomorrow afternoon, seeing some frequent gusts over 40 miles per hour. So here in Seattle and just western Washington, we are under first alert weather mode because of the next round of rain, the river flooding. And we could have that low-lying area flooding, urban flooding as well. And into the weekend, we'll have showers around at times with rain becoming likely as we head into next week. So we are going to keep a very close eye out on if you are watching this from another city and you have friends, family perhaps in the Seattle area in western Washington, reach out and make sure they know, especially if they live closer to some of the rivers.